What if Season 3, Episode 4? What if Howard the Duck got hitched? Thoughts? Another episode I love, like most of the MCU. Spoilers for everything MCU leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated 12+. Let's dive right in. So, I do feel like maybe the episode should have been called What If Howard the Duck... You know, I'm just gonna... I swear I didn't spend forever on the following. It pretty much just came to me. But Jingle bells. Howard smells Darcy laid an egg. Almost got cooked. Grandmaster shook. But they all got away. And with that absolute abomination against music, let's move on and pretend that it didn't happen. Yeah, so many things. I like how for a lot of this, you know, I hesitate to use the word like passenger and certainly not tourist, but yeah, Howard and Darce are kind of just along for the ride. Like a lot of the time, they're not the one doing the big thing. Like something dramatic is about to happen to the egg and someone else comes in. There's probably like a term, it's a trope. You know, the protagonist is almost like an audience member. You know, they get to do some stuff, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the time it's other people getting the egg away from, yeah. And I guess we're just supposed to assume that this is, you know, people just pay really close attention. I suppose maybe there's like machines that are constantly looking for extremely powerful beings and it picked up the egg. Yeah, that works. They don't need to explain it. That's fine. 100% works. You know, weirder things exist in the MCU. I really appreciate that Howard is clearly Jewish. I do believe this has come up in earlier stuff. You know, this is like at least the third time Howard is in one of these. Also really appreciate another sequel to an earlier episode. You know, this, yeah, follows the one where, you know, with the Party Thor one from way back in season 1, now that I think about it. Yeah, because he was part of the Guardians of the Multiverse in the season 1 finale. So, yeah. And, yeah, the you know, he's using Yiddish as he's, like, filming them. And I... See, normally I would look this up, but my wrists are completely fried right now. That's not the right term for that. They're not, like, broken. They're recovering perfectly fine. But, yeah, can't look up too much stuff. I do feel like I heard once that both Seth Green and Kat Dennings are Jewish. I forget. But, yeah, certainly I could believe it. And, yeah, always happy to see Seth Green in something nerdy. You know, yeah. Anyway, right, I appreciate that throughout the episode, like, Howard is, like, needing Darcy to fix things. You know, he can't fly. And really, as far as, you know, it really does appear the only problem she had with landing was that he was watching her. Like, as soon as he agreed to not watch, she landed perfectly, you know. And yeah, just various things, you know, yeah, very, very realistic. The guy trying to, you know, acting like he knows, and the woman has to step in and say, no, this is what we're going to do, and fixes it. And I think that might... Yeah, I'm just going to get out of the way. The Vormir thing, I really... If there is just one thing... You know, if I were to send a letter to Santa asking Kevin Feige to do just one thing with the MCU, that, you know, to change just one thing about the MCU, Okay, maybe it wouldn't be, but there's some chance that it would be. Please stop undermining, maybe especially Vormir, because like some people don't seem to really remember. Natasha was part of the MCU for almost as long as Tony was. Like, she was in Iron Man 2. You know, Tony only appeared in one movie. Well, yeah, one movie and one post-credits scene before she entered the MCU. I'm not saying she had quite as, you know, there were. She only had the one solo movie. He had three, and she only appeared in one of his solo movies, so on and so forth. But still, she was one of the foundations of the Avengers in the MCU, and I just really don't like how they're treating this. You know, they did it in Miss Marvel as well, which is otherwise an amazing show. Love it. Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't particularly have other criticisms. I thought the impersonators did pretty well here. You know, several of the voices they didn't get the original actor back, which I don't blame them for. They tended to sound sounded like. And yeah, I appreciate how messy this episode is. Like, it's really chaotic. Like, it has the feel of like one or multiple kids just like emptying the box of Marvel toy figures out on the floor, grabbing them and being like, okay, so then then Malekith shows up, and then the children of Thanos show up, and all this just, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's do some chronological stuff. I 100% believe that the Grandmaster would think that if he comps them tickets, he can eat their, egg. Just yeah. And he doesn't even like tell them. He doesn't restrain them or anything. So like, I guess he just thought, I'm so important, they'll just have to let me. Which, yeah, that is consistent with his characterization in the other MCU entries. You know, he seems quite clueless and in denial about how unpopular he is with the people he treats badly. Let's see. We have the. Yeah, I like that. You know, you have been served, and it is like, yeah, that's Howard. You know. Oh, right. I forget. I heard once, but I don't remember anymore. Maybe Howard is also Jewish in the comics. If not, certainly there. I don't think that it's a bad change. I'm not the right person to, just giving my opinion here. If his religion is something else and it's significant in the comics, I don't think I've ever read a Howard the Duck comic. I wouldn't mind. But yeah, really appreciate the Jewish representation that there's been in the MCU recently. Howard, Moon Knight. Let's see, but yeah. And the thing with the song, was really sweet. That, yeah, we worked really hard on those harmonies, and just, yeah, the fact that, it starts out as their song, their couple song, and then it becomes what they sing to the baby to soothe it. That is legitimately sweet. Like, I really love that at the core of this episode is this just such sweet, yeah, it's just a mother and father doing their best, trying to figure out what's best for the baby, and just, yeah. And I will say, until we saw little birdie, yeah, like, we were kind of thinking, what exactly is it gonna look like? Is this is not the first time that we've seen, I might be in the MCU, but there's other pieces of fiction where you see, let's see, is that a spoiler? I guess technically, arguably, that is a spoiler. Crap. Let's see. Is there any way for me to imply it strongly enough? I'll just say there's a franchise where one character says, "I was supposed to be beautiful," and someone else responds, "But you are." That particular franchise does give us an image of, what would it look like if two very different species procreated together. And, yeah, little birdie does have little wings and otherwise looks human. Until then, we were kind of thinking, like, what exactly is this baby going to look like? Not to be, like, insensitive or something, but just kind of curious, that's all. And, yeah, they're at the start, because they know the moment that it's like, nope, they're having a baby, we want to see what the baby looks like, it's not, again, it's not to be mean. And, she's, when will it hatch again? It's just, well, if in the normal amount of time, it is like, yeah, I mean, normally they don't, yeah. Let's see. If a human and a duck can love each other, why can't their parents? And let's see, yeah, appreciate the double fake out with the menus. Like, I can't make heads or tails, which maybe Howard can make beaks or tails of it, and like, yeah, I got some, I got a translator on the smartphone, and at first, like, invited to feast upon Howard and Darcy. Oh no, and then feast your eyes. I'm like, it's not a cookbook. And then, no, really, there we go. It's the egg instead. I love that the Grandmaster has a button he can press to make the seats of the guests go down. Like, he's like, no, I know I've raised my seat as high as it'll go, which is a great way to get the scissors out of the, ceiling whilst the barber has turned himself away. He needs like a second chair there so he can like fence with Baguette with a different dictator. And he still wants them to be further down. That is legitimately very funny. And I like the thing of, oh, the Mohawk guy saved our baby. The Mohawk guy is stealing our baby. That was, yeah. And let's see. And yeah, this is pre-redemption Yondu, so yeah, he will steal your baby, Mr. Steal Yo Egg. And let's see. Yeah, Caecilius has replaced the collector. That makes a lot of sense, he went from, in the MCU he was global, now he's intergalactic. There's legitimately nothing in the rule book that at all contradicts this. I 100% could see the one from the movie, yeah. And I guess that does get us nicely to the, let's see. Oh, right, yeah, we have S.H.I.E.L.D. I will say, when they said, oh, don't worry, it's our #1 priority, I was like, it is? Like, but, yeah, fair enough, it is really important. Did the Grandmaster know that he was just gonna make breakfast out of, like, a superpowered being? Is that just, like, he was just like, oh, it's an egg, I like eggs, Wow. There's gonna be egg on his face. But yeah. Sorry for reminding you that that movie exists. He's got 8 of everything. But let's see, yeah. What's the other thing? Yeah, because the egg is so important, it is also important to S.H.I.E.L.D. Should they have been named Sword? I guess Sword hadn't been created by this point, but Sword is technically the off-world version of S.H.I.E.L.D. I do appreciate that he's, the various S.H.I.E.L.D. people we see here are working with Skrulls, and that's how they have, ships that travel through space. I guess they were better at finding a home world for them in the story of this episode, or I suppose it's possible it's the small group from the Marvels, but otherwise maybe this is like course correction for like, wow, it kind of was ridiculous to claim in, like, I get that it's like a metaphor, it's allegory rather, but the idea in Secret Invasion that, oh, we couldn't find a single planet for the Skrulls to live on, it's like, No, that's there's just no way. Like that's not as bad as the actual ending and the whole thing of like, oh no, like that show seriously does imply no, apparently refugees really are, doing white replacement. Like, holy crap, that's tone deaf. Anyway, yeah, let's see. We have the thing with, oh, it's they're going to the collector. Now we know where they're going. Well, where are they going? Nowhere. And we get the, who's on first routine after the, they must be going somewhere, which is a direct quote from Guardians 2. And yeah, I appreciate, we find out how Howard escaped, because that really, I'm pretty sure that had never been, cleared up before now. And I'm guessing that's what it's supposed to be in both, in the movies as well, since this is a different universe, different universe in the multiverse. But yeah, him escaping through the sewer makes a lot of sense. You know, I know it might sound like a crappy pipe dream, but it worked. And let's see, I kind of love that it's completely unexplained how Howard and Darcy got the ducks. How did they get cloaks of the exact right color and type in just knows, and even one in Howard's size, just yeah. Let's see. And they, yeah, that is how Dormammu is supposed to come into the world out of his dimension, which, yeah, that is an alternative, way for him to, in Doctor Strange 1, it was about let's see, they were letting him into our dimension, I think was the thing. But for him to just be reborn, it's same overall result, kind of, and yeah, that works. It's Plan B, although in this case, Plan B is not preventing a baby. And let's see, right, I like the line, Dormammu does not come to bargain, reversing what Doctor Strange said. And I think, right, I like that Fury and Sam Jackson and Kat Dennings had a blast. Right? I'm not saying they're the only ones, but they really had, like, Sam Jackson shouting with glee, "Fury out!" each time he disappeared. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, Kat Dennings also really did great. Like, there's some kind of emotional moments here, and she really nails it. Like, I haven't seen her do very much, like, serious acting. Like, it's been ages, but she did do one episode of Without a Trace. She was good there as well, But yeah, that was, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. Maybe not quite that much, but it was a little while ago. Other than that, I'm really only familiar with her MCU stuff, I think. Did I see her in anything else? I don't offhand think I've seen her in anything. I'm aware of a couple of things she was in, but yeah. Let's see. And she really is, like, of the ones who don't have solo movies, she's one of the ones who pops up a bunch, like Howard. And I think that might just about cover. Let's see. Yeah, I think that does get us past the. Yeah, I like the teleporting. The portaling of the egg. And at one point they're like, "Oh no, the egg disappeared right in front of us." Oh, it's just back from a portal. Yeah. And let's see. We have the. Caecilius, tilting things like. He and other magic users do in the first Doctor Strange movie. And let's see, they go, I like that at first it sounds like Loki is back to his old tricks, but then it's like, no, like, seriously, for real. If his family treated him better, he would just, like, he's a doofy trust fund kid, there goes your trust fund. You know, just like, yeah, he's not the like, he's not the smartest, but he's not really a bad person as such. He's just a little bit clueless, maybe, but yeah, you know, like, you know, they come to ask for help, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta listen to this business venture I've got. You can get in on the ground floor, you know, just like, dude, time and place." And you did it at my birthday party. I gotta space out my referencing of that more. It's just a fun reference to make. But let's see. Yeah, and I as a Scandinavian, I do quite appreciate. Yeah, you know, if he's gonna make, you know, like, it's gonna be like some kind of tech thing, or it's gonna be ski resort. You know, like, I'm Danish, but yeah, Norway and Sweden, very much, you know, known for their ski resorts. So, and you know, Loki being from Norse myth is where I'm getting at. I think that might be about right. I like Laufey as just like the slightly annoyed parent, you know, and we get another one, another like, Dad, you're embarrassing me. Yeah, you know, considering how dark his character is in the first Thor movie. And yeah, I think that does get us nicely to just the massive, you know, once the, yeah, so, you know, oh, Thor's gonna show up. Nope, it's Zeus, you know, and he's still talking about the orgy, though he mentions it less here than elsewhere. And let's see, the Dark Elves show up, and I feel like this episode is one of those where, like, you know, if you don't know everything MCU yet and you watch this episode, yeah, you're gonna check out some of the movies that the various ones pop up in, and for that it does quite a good job of advertising a bunch of different, you know, you've got the Dark Elves from Thor 2, you've got the, you know, Caecilius from Doctor Strange 1, you have Laufey from Loki, if only, from Thor 1, you've got Grandmaster from Thor 3. Yeah, the entire Thor trilogy, the Thorlogy, is covered here. You know, you've got the, there's some Guardians of the Galaxy stuff with Nowhere and the Collector. You've got the Children of Thanos from Infinity War. Yeah, they do quite a good job of getting you into, you know, they reference Vormir from Endgame, but yeah, yeah, it was really fun there at the end when all of them converge, and yeah, I wasn't expecting for, you know, well, I wasn't expecting, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, the Dark Elf leader. I'm not one of the people who think that he's like the worst character ever, but yeah, I don't, what was the, okay, I swear I'm not going to spend for Malekith, that's it. You know, I wasn't expecting them to bring him back at all. I guess, considering that it was on this show, the moment that he pops up, I really should have guessed, oh, they're going to finally give him a personality, and it's going to be a broad one. You know, I wasn't that attached to his lack of personality in the movie, so it didn't really bother me. Really, Vormir was the only thing that they changed that bothered me. There's at least one other thing. Yeah, I really love that they're like singing to the baby there. You know, when they think, oh, this is it. We're not going to be able to stop all these. You know, and right, and also, you know, the hear us and rejoice, and we of course think, oh no, they're there to kill 50% of, you know. Or was it 100%? Because it kind of was, you know, in Guardians 1, they do say, oh, you know, they killed, let's see, I think it was Gamora was the sole survivor of her planet. And then in Infinity War, it's like, no, there's half of them survived. Anyway, but no, they're just, we're just here for the ski resort. We have a Groupon. Magical child, you say? And, you know, Howard's like, me and my big beak. But let's see. Yeah, they sing to the egg, and it rises into the air, starts using like Tesla coil powers. Yeah, really, really cool. And I mean, I don't know if the comics also have Howard have a really powerful baby. I wouldn't rule it out. Weirder things have happened. Love comic books, in part because of that. And certainly there are a bunch of extremely powerful kids that are offspring of the yeah, powerful, the Fantastic Four, Reed and Sue, once they have kids. At least one of them is extremely powerful, so yeah. I think that might be about it. Yeah, I like there at the end where, like Fury is clearly saying, well, you can keep the baby, and Howard's still like, you gotta go through me first. It's like, I think he picks up a thing that he's gonna like fend them off with, and it's like, dude, read the room. Like, Fury doesn't like yield very often. It takes a lot for him to go against the plan he had that he was following. But clearly this is one of those cases, And and yeah, really, like earlier he was just worried that they wouldn't be able to protect the egg. The egg can protect itself. No problem there. And let's see. I think right, also the thing about like Howard just assumes that they're like Darcy points out, like clearly they're not here to arrest us, and he's like force of habit, just yeah, sadly very true. A lot of people who have had problems with the law, the next time they see a cop, they assume that the cop is out to get them, which sadly a lot of the time is accurate. A lot of cops really don't trust people who have already been in the system in one way or another. I think that does cover. Yeah, very, very sweet there at the end with the, they sing and the baby seems to fall asleep, and then they woke off and it's like, oh no, the baby's crying. Is it the bottle? Is it the blanket? What do we do? Just, yeah. I don't have kids. Don't worry. I do hear that that is a very, like the baby suddenly crying in the night, and the parents desperately trying to figure out, why is it crying? What do we do? How do we fix this? That is apparently a very common thing. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Right, Tom Hiddleston was definitely also having fun here. And I feel like, was there one more thing that I wanted to say? Let's see. Right, the thing with, oh, we better call Boss Man down for this, and he's like, you called me, is this the Stones? You called me down here for an egg? It's magical? Just, yeah. I very much do get the vibe that Thanos is one of those bosses who's like, you couldn't have handled this on your own, really? You had to call. I was in a meeting that could have been an email, but a meeting nevertheless.